Hi, this is Wojo with Call the Wild Photography. If you've been in the biker culture in the northeastern region of the United States, you might have seen my work. Figured I'd do an About Me video. Every event I go to, people are asking me, hey, how did I get into this? They've seen my work, they've seen the calendar, all kinds of different stuff. So I figured, hey, why not do a video about it? So I've been into photography my entire life. I was a kid of the 80s. In middle school, I was doing operating video camera for the town cable company, covering basketball games and town politicians and stuff like that. Then we moved to Berlin, New Hampshire. That opportunity wasn't there. Just high school didn't have such things. So I was still into photography. So it was pretty common to see me with an SLR camera. That's where I got big into skiing. If you're into skiing and you're a ski bum and a beach bum, which I was, you have zero money. So cameras go by the wayside pretty fast. Had a lot of fun. Don't regret any of those years. Then ended up getting married. And, my wife Melinda. We have two beautiful daughters, Ashton and Miranda. And so life got in the way. But even through all that, I was still really into photography and into video. Never forget, Melinda, I wouldn't say laughing. We were bringing the kids to Disney. And that's just back in 99 or 2000. I think it was 2000. And I used that as an opportunity to spend $2,000 on a Sony Handycam camcorder, which back then at my income level was a ton of money. But we do still the videos. So even then I was always the guy that people would have at weddings and stuff, and I'd screw around with cheap digital cameras, this and that. So anyhow, fast forward, kids are a little bit older. I pretty much stopped skiing and got into motorcycles. And it's like a lot of my ski bum friends are shocked that I don't ski anymore. And I always remind them of the Herman Zerbergen quote when he was getting interviewed. I think it was for one of the Olympic Games in the 80s. He pre-ran the downhill course. And Herman, why are you still skiing? And he goes, I'm still looking for that perfect turn. And motorcycles, I'm still looking for that perfect turn. So I got into motorcycles, completely got addicted with bikes, riding, and the entire lifestyle. So one day I was, and this is getting more to the point of how Call the Wild started. One day I took my motorcycle to work. It was a Yamaha Roadliner that I actually turned into a Stratoliner. Absolutely still one of my favorite bikes ever, that had so much power and handled so well. It was just a killer bike. But I brought it to work on a Friday, and if you know anything about Route 20 in Massachusetts, it's a hellacious road. There's accidents all the time. Nothing wrong with the road, just nobody pays attention. And so being dumb, I was trying to get left into my building, and I'll never forget. I was stopped because I couldn't just make the left, and I looked in my rear view, and there was a pickup truck that was driving erratically. And then he straightened out, and after I saw him straighten out, I lifted my head out of the mirror to see if I could make the left. And as I was lifting my head up, I got rear-ended, launched over the windshield of the bike. Thankfully, I landed in my lane. So here I am, middle of Route 20. I was in Massachusetts, so I was wearing a helmet. And I get up. There's a girl crying. And I get up and I'm just pissed. And I go and I smash her windshield with the helmet. Then I look up and she is crying and she points behind her. And she had actually taken probably about an 80 mile an hour impact. She was stopped behind me and got hit by, how I can describe it is probably a track horse, what she looked like. So that little 17-year-old girl definitely saved my life that day. Got a wicked concussion from that accident. Nothing broken, but concussion. I was foggy for 2 weeks. So it kind of was like, you start looking at stuff and, what do you like to do? Just going on and on. So photography was something that I had wanted to bring to the next level and just never had. Obviously things aren't cheap. And with some of the settlement money for that, I bought my first DSLR, which was a Nikon D5100. I thought it was a lot of money back then, but like to go back to those days now. And the pretense of buying it was I wanted to be the next Michael Lichter. If you don't know who Michael is, he is the long-term Easy Riders photographer. He's covered every motorcycle event there is to cover. Absolutely phenomenal work. Just always loved his work and wanted to emulate to be like him. And you know what, if I could get hired by Easy Riders, even better. The plan at that point was to only have enough photography gear that I could fit in the saddlebags of the bike. Well, if you look around this studio, you'll see that ship sailed. But however, cameras and motorcycles have opened me up to a world of opportunities. The first big one was we became very close friends with Robert and Steve, who own Cady's Tavern. If you haven't been to Cady's, you are missing out on one of the best biker bars in New England. Right over the Connecticut line in Chepachet, Rhode Island, like probably 10 miles from the Massachusetts border. Wonderful property, outside seating, absolutely killer. Blues Jam 3 to 7 every Sunday. And the owners are literally some of the best people you'll ever meet in your life. Always helping other people. So as we got to know them and I was shooting different bands and stuff, I ended up being the staff photographer for Cady's. A lot of bike events, bike runs, charity events, musicians, local musicians, and some touring acts. And in 2016, we started doing a vintage motorcycle pinup count. Just kind of, hey, let's see what happens. This year, it's now one of the biggest events that happens there. And this coming year is going to be our 10th anniversary doing it. So I'm trying to come up with something good. I want it to be an incredible event. This past year's was phenomenal. I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. And so the pictures we got were amazing. And it's always just a really fun day watching the models and the camaraderie that grows with them throughout the day is really cool. And the guys, lining up to get the bike shot with them. It's a great day. So that's rolled into another event that we started going out to Catskill Mountain Thunder, which is out in East Durham, New York, out in the Catskills. Went out for the June run to begin with, and really fell in love with the place and the whole vibe of everybody. And they kept talking about Catskill Mountain Thunder, which I'd heard about, but I hadn't been. We went one year and I was just hooked. We got to know the owners and their marketing woman, Missy. The handles who own the Blackthorn Resort, which where CMT is held at, are just incredible people. They're very similar to Robin and Steve from Cady. The entire Handle family is just amazing. And I ended up becoming the staff photographer for Catskill Mountain Thunder. That is one hell of an event, guys. I bring out almost everything in this studio because we do bike builder interviews, covering the event, bike runs. We do a promo shoot with models. It starts on Tuesday and ends on Sunday. It is a full event, and if you haven't done it, you should go. The bands I've shot for them have been just phenomenal. I've shot Drowning Pool, I've shot Saliva, Muck Cherry. Just an incredible cast of national headliners, but also they have some of the best New York local bands that I've seen. So some of these bands just are phenomenal. And it's been a pleasure to get to know these people and shoot them all. So, in a nutshell, that's how Call a Wild came to be and what we do. It has spun off into a couple of different brands. Photography and videography is my passion. Not everyone is into the biker lifestyle. We have another brand, which is Quiet Corner Boudoir, which we shoot a lot in studio, mostly in studio, which that's a lot of fun. Watching the confidence come out of a woman during a shoot is really incredible. The main brand, the corporate brand, is JHW Imaging. We work with primarily construction companies, but we do work with other businesses. That one's a lot of fun. We do a lot of drone and aerial photography, a lot of video production, talking head video, stuff like I'm doing right now, safety videos, job site videos. And, I get to go to some of the coolest job sites in Boston. And, good example, last year I was walking through the Sumner Tunnel when they were doing all the construction. That was pretty cool. You can see that site at jhwimaging.com. But Call of the Wild is and always will be my passion project, first and foremost. If you haven't been to the website, it's callofthewildphotography.com. A lot of great stuff on there. You can see a lot of the bands I've covered, the promo shoots, and don't forget, you can book your own shoot. I do private work under all three bands, but if you got a hot bike, you want a picture of just the mic with your girlfriend, you want me to hire a model to shoot with it, we can do it all. Or if you have an event you need covered, give me a holler. Once again, Wojo, look forward to seeing you at the next bike event. Be safe.